YouTube, I'm back. Yeah. Oh, great fun putting pickups in a chibson. So, what the books don't tell you, what you should really know is, see, right, obviously, you've got your pickups, right, and they go through a channel inside the guitar to get to each other and then to get into the control cavity. Well, the problem with this is the wires on the pickups that came in it are 2-wire. So the wire is yon thick. The pickups that came in this are 5-wire. So the wire is yon thick. Therefore, it took me over an hour to poke the wires through. So more than half of this job was trying to get 4 fucking stupid wires. It's after 30 seconds, but I'd like to say that. Into the control cavity. What a flipping nightmare that was. Did not enjoy that at all. I had to drill the pots to fit as well, because CTS pots are bigger than the ones I've got. So I had to drill the fronts. I didn't put that in the video. I did all this in a video, so it's a 2-hour video of me basically shouting at this guitar. So I'm not liking it very much for that reason. It's not the guitar's fault. It kind of is the guitar's fault, but yeah. So now we've got a blues engine, which I think it was the bridge pickup. Was it the bridge or the neck pickup? I can't remember which one I put in. I put them in the right way round though. Vintage PAF. Design has been the holy grail for generations of guitarists. Put that sales pitch on the back. It has superb clarity, warmth, and tolerance, and looks superbly in a Les Paul efforts. The blues engine's also choice for 335. Resistance bridge. So it's a blues engine in the bridge. And a Tesla Shark, which will have a grab those aviator shades and top parts, the bare-chested, angrier Tesla Shark. This would be the same classic rock beast, but it's really capable all-rounder. Yeah. I would say it's louder than it was before with the previous pickups. Included in that video I did when I was wiring it was my rant about hot pickups. Oh, they're only 8K, I won't like them. What the 8K tells you is how long the piece of wire is that's wrapped around the magnet. That's what it tells you. It doesn't tell you what the output is. Because these pickups are both lower than the ones I took out, and they're both louder. So they've got less wire on them. The difference is they've got a different type of magnet and it's a different type of wire. That's what's important. The distance of how much you've got on it. It does happen to work out that some lower output pickups are lower resistance and some higher output pickups are a higher resistance. Yep. Some are. It might be. In the pickups you've got, maybe that's true. Doesn't work for all pickups. Or even most. Sorry, I've just noticed something there. Does that note work? It does. I'm starting to notice slight imperfections in it. I suppose with a bit of that pedal. I was going to stitch these 2 videos together, the one of before and the after, but I've already uploaded the other one, so fuck it. I'll just put them 2 out after each other so you can compare. You can just skip between the videos. Sorry. Neck volume. Tone. Back up. Bridge pickup. Bridge pickup volume. Tone. that's it. Turns out to be quite a fine guitar. It's not a case of Chibsons are shit. That's not true. I don't think I ever really claimed that, but some of them totally are. If you know who you're getting it off, I suppose there are. They do have, like, you know, assuming that they're not fake, you know, like customer ratings and shit like that, or maybe if you know someone that got one from a decent factory. It doesn't necessarily go for, you know, the cheapest one might not necessarily be the shittest one either. You see that when you're looking up, you know, my pal never used to buy the cheapest thing. He would always buy the second cheapest. You can buy the cheapest thing. But the thing is, if you're looking up, you know, things that are coming from China, it's just, you know, like, oh, the wee, I don't know, those single coil pickups I bought, I paid £10.50 for them, for 3 single coil pickups. You could pay 15 or 17 or 18 pounds if you looked at other listings for exactly the same thing. It's not like it's like, oh, here's our version of a red single coil pickup. No, here's the same one. It's just that we bought more of them and selling them cheaper, or we're just chancing our arms. So it's always worth to shop about, especially if you can get exactly the same thing from a different vendor for 10% less. I've forever doing that, buying guitar parts. You know, spend 3 hours on the computer, spend £3 on guitar parts instead of, but those 3 hours saved me 50p, which is totally I should just have bought the first one I saw, but I didn't. I would have saved myself 2 hours work, but hey, saved £1 or whatever it was. So I mean, looking at it, I can't remember. The guy, I don't know if he even said how much. I'm going for something like this costs like £300 by the time you paid postage. They're being a bit cleverer now with it, so they're charging you, instead of charging, when I was looking at them a few years ago, it was like £50 for the guitar and £150 postage. Now they've swapped it round, so, because I was thought, you know, I don't know what, pay £150 for a £50 guitar, whereas now they've made it £150 guitar with £50 postage, even though that's not actually what you're paying for. But I mean, if this was another make, not a Chibson, and it was £300, it's all right. It's the details aren't there. It works. For £200, yeah. £300, no. I'm a cheap bastard though. But if you really want an Explorer that looks like this, then that's the only option. I maybe don't hate the fact that the pickups both have the white coils on the north either. Normally I would rather have it so it was like the inside coils are white, or the outside coils are white, not inside and outside. But I kind of quite like it. These pickups are better than the ones I took out, by sure. So I suppose that's not really. I mean, those pickups must have cost, I don't know. It must be £50 worth of pickups. It's £15 or £20 worth of pots. So you're already up at £70. You're having to pay me for 2 hours for fucking shouting at it and doing it. So you know you're up at. If you were wanting to be super sensible about these things, how much is a Yamaha Pacifica? You're not. I do even think the lower end, buying it brand new Pacifica, I think you're sort of the second or third one up when you start getting up to 400 odd quid. But I do sort of understand the fakery thing. I just am kind of against it, just from the whole. I do worry about the potential of somebody getting ripped off later on down the line. But if you're going to hang it in the wall and just play it in the house, I suppose what's the point in that? Arguably, what's the point in having a Gibson Explorer if you're just going to be playing it in the house anyway? It's like, you know, you're not recording albums and stuff. Even then, there's no reason why you couldn't gig this or record an album with this, and nobody else would notice. You always get that with guitars. You know, it's like sitting there trying to get your tone and stuff like, oh, the amp I'm playing through tonight's not the right one. Nobody else is going to notice. Maybe the other people in your band might, because they go, oh, you're sounding a wee bit different tonight. Whereas someone's watching you at a gig, they don't know what you sound like normally. The whole room's all different. It's not like a controlled environment like the way a studio is, where you just go in and it's like it should be the same as it was last week because we're in the same room, the walls are in the same space, same amount of echo, same amount of reverb, all that crap. Whereas if you're playing gigs, it's like it's like that's why you have to be really good to play gigs and for it to go well is to deal with the fact that we played outside in a tent, and because we were really good, it didn't make any difference. And it's like playing other gigs, you know. That last gig we did, the bass player wouldn't let me use his amp, so I had to use one that I found at the back of the stage, even though he said on the weeks running up that I could use his amp. I had to use this horrible crate thing, and it sounded shit, and my monitor was farting, but I don't know how, if apart from the fact I was moaning about it after, I don't think anyone watching would have noticed any of that stuff. It's just that I was only, 80% as good as I would be normally. But, when are you ever 100% at a gig anyway? So we got this chap a phone says guitar is ready to come and pick up. So there you go, chibson video. Yeah, maybe that'll get me lots of likes. I don't know. I'm not going to. I don't. They're not for me. I did buy a lot of Chenders when I was in China. The Fender Telecasters and stuff like that. You don't want to know how much I was paying for them over there, like how much one of these costs in China. I bought a bad one. The one that I had to send back was a Les Paul Custom. So it was like, I had the binding and all that, set neck, one humbucker and one knob. It was white. It was a beautiful looking thing. And it cost me 60 quid. And it was fucking gash. I had to send it back. It was like the neck had been put on like that. So it's like, see when you looked, this doesn't have, on a Les Paul where the neck heel joins, there's a wee shelf. And the shelf basically went from no millimetres to about 5 millimetres. You're looking at it going, what? And then you looked at the neck, the whole neck was sitting like that. Which you can get round because obviously you can just make the bridge sit like that, and then you can angle the pickups to sit like that. So it was that, but I was purely buying that to bring it back and sell it. And I couldn't have sold that for lots of money. Oh, Chibson's really good, just got it straight back from China, want 150 quid for it. Oh, it's pure great. It's like pure. What about the neck? The neck's on at a stupid angle, but you can move it so it does kind of work. That's not. That wouldn't have sat right with me anyway. Also, to be totally honest, I wasn't sure how I was going to get it home because you couldn't take the neck off it because it was a set neck, whereas all the neck unbolted the necks, kept them in my luggage, smuggled them. Well, I don't think it's technical. I kept Jenkins. I stopped telling people we smuggled guitars. We didn't smuggle guitars. They were all old guitars that we were given, and they were all, beat up and practically worthless anyway, and 20, 30, 40 years old. So it's not. It was not like we weren't paying tax on them and any of that crap. It's just like didn't declare them. In fact, even Jen actually paid extra money to get her bass home because it came in a case. And there was no customs or anything on that. And it wasn't new, but I mean, they really checked if it was new. I do get it if you're importing a new guitar, expect to pay customs. Maybe it depends where you're coming from. Yep, so there you go. Part 2. Chibson with a blues engine and a Tesla Shark in it. I do quite like the iron gear pickups. They're quite good. I had one called there's one called a Steam Hammer. There's one called a Dirty Slag, I think, as well. I seem to remember having a Dirty Slag in something. I think it was a Chibson, actually. I had a good Chibson Les Paul at one point. It was it was natural on the top, but the sides and the back were all white, with the Strat in the corner. And it was a really nice guitar. I didn't really want a Gibson Les Paul. It was as good as an Epiphone. I mean, this is I'd pretty much as good as an Epiphone, I think. The only thing I would do is I would get a wee bit of filing on the frets. You can totally tell it's not a premium guitar from that. They're not razor blades, but they're. But if you're churning out a guitar at a factory, I've said this before, you're churning out a guitar cheap. If it's going to take a skilled person an hour to do the frets, which that person costs more than everything else put together. That person who's to set it up. That's why Harley Benton's aren't set up, because in order to get somebody to set them up costs more than the actual guitar costs to build to the point it's at. So you put in the quality control, someone who's going to go in and make sure everything's in the right place. That guy costs more than the guitar did. Therefore, they don't do it. So the modern model is just get the guitars out the factory, we'll sell them, and people can just return them. That's it. Because not everyone's going to know that their guitars are shiter. People are buying kids for wee Billy's Christmas. Oh, he's only 8. Oh, I'll buy him a Harley Benton Stratocaster, he wants that. So he's 8, he tries to play the guitar, it's shite, never plays in tune, because he's not good enough on the guitar to play in tune. No, it's because the guitar won't play in tune because the bridge is in the wrong place. Or something along those lines. He's not returning it because he doesn't know that there's something wrong with the guitar. He just assumes that, oh, I need to practice really hard. It's like, because I thought open chords were really difficult. It was my first guitar. There was something wrong with it. I'm still not sure exactly what was wrong with it. There was something wrong down here, so anything below but the 5th fret just rattled and buzzed. So I thought open chords were hard. Can't do them. Oh, I can't do open chords. So I just played power chords up here. And then when I actually bought an acoustic, it was like, oh, the fucking open chords are easy. What's wrong with my guitar? And it's like, I didn't know. I played that for 6 months or a year or something like that without knowing that there was something wrong with it. So that's where the scepticism in me comes in, where people are thinking, oh, just buy that. And it's like, buying it for a Christmas present, buying for someone who doesn't know anything about guitars, just fancied a shot of it. I keep hearing all these amazing reviews about Harley Benton's. I'll get one of them, and they try and play it, and guitar's much harder than I thought it was going to be. I've been playing for a couple of months. I'm not really getting anywhere. It just doesn't sound good. It's like they don't know that they've bought a guitar that's fucked and shite. You know what I mean? So Harley Benton win, because then they don't get it sent back, and they, instead of paying somebody to make sure that guitar was okay, which would have cost them 50 quid, something like that, they can just save that £50 and just keep that, because that £50 never came back to bite them in the arse. And even the ones that are the number, if you look at the number of B stocks they've got, it's because people get them and they're shite and they send them back. Whether they're shite for a fixable reason, you know, it's got a couple of high frets, I can fix that. This bridge is in the wrong place. Oh, that's a difficult one to fix. That's really difficult because you've got to plug these holes and move it. A Telecaster, because it's on a metal plate, okay, it's a wee bit off. Some of the chibsons, the Chinese ones I bought, had it slightly off. There's a fair amount of play in a Tele bridge. You know, if it's slightly too high, you can just like unbolt the screws and slide it down a little bit. Because it's in a metal plate, you can kind of put it where you want. And it's like, and within reason, and not actually have to do anything other than unscrew like the 4 screws that are holding it on, move it, and then put the screws in slightly lower, kind of thing. Can't do that with this. Same with neck angles. Neck angles bad. Telecaster, take it off, sand it, shave it, cut it, put it back on again in the right place. Les Paul, neck's fucked. Oh. That's it then, innit? Another 20 minutes about talking piss about this guitar. I'm sorry for everyone. And I'm obviously just cheesed off at spending all day, all afternoon doing something which should have taken 15 minutes. Catch you later.